In Poopstigator news,
Poopstigator.
2 men win $2.25 million after employer allegedly swabbed their butts.
What?
Illegally.
How do you swab somebody's butt?
And why do you need to swab their butt?
How do you swab a butt? How does your butt even get swabbed?
You know how they go,
But you gotta let him swab it. Did he rape swab it?
Did he bend over and spread his ass cheeks and they got like tongs with a cotton ball and fucking swabbed it?
Did they willingly get swabbed or they get rape swabbed?
It's a little bit of both. It was more of forced consent to butt swab.
Oh, if you don't let me do it, you're fired.
Oh shit.
How do you swab a butt?
And why do you swab?
Probably a Q-tip and go wee, 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 and then it's all brown.
I feel. Oh, why would you smell it?
You never know.
Okay, so at this company called Atlas Logistics Group, they had
Very
a poop
sound
problem where poop was like found around the warehouse, left for managers to find.
Oh, someone's
Oh, so they got pranksters.
disgruntled.
Pranksters everywhere.
How come they just didn't set up a camera?
The simplest solution.
I thought like the butt swab was like for drugs or something else.
Yeah.
So the managers came up with a plan to swab DNA from a couple of employees.
They're doing all that work.
So they got the 2 employees that they were suspecting. They forced to consent to a butt swab to see if the DNA from the poop came from either one of them.
Why is it only 2?
Those are 2 ones that were suspected.
2 pranksters.
So after the swab, they tested negative. And so they took the company to court.
Ooh, as they should.
Yeah, because it was a violation of GINA, which is a Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act,
Go Gina.
where it's an unlawful employment practice for employer to request, require, or purchase genetic information from the employer.
And it's a violation of butthole too.
That's the.
Imagine the traumatization their anus went through.
So, how did the manager put a fucking mask on and like a fucking swab and like bend over, poke the Q-tip in the asshole, threw it in a fucking container, and then ship it off to the genetics company to see the DNA matches the shit?
Probably.
God damn.
Why don't they just do David's idea and just have cameras?
That'll help them in the long run.
All they gotta do is put cameras, put a sign that says, smile, you're on camera with that yellow happy face, and people will stop pooping.
No.
It'll just scare them to stop pooping.
Prevents theft too within the warehouse or anything like that.
Yeah, liability purposes.
So one man
Fuck the marabu
was
shit.
able to get $225,000. The other was able to get $250,000. And then between both of them, they were able to share $1,750,000 in putative
Yeah.
I wish somebody would swab my ass.
I know, that's so worth it.
They probably just swabbed it themselves and
Yeah,
gave them the sample.
Yeah.
Would you guys be down to get your butthole swabbed for $1 million?
Hell fucking yeah. You could lick my butthole if you want, dog.
For $1 million?
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I mean, I feel bad for you, but fuck it. Give me $2 million and I'll get my asshole licked. Done.
Done deal.
I'd do it for $50.
This one's number is always so fucking low, dude.
Always
He
throwing it
haggles
all up.
himself. $1 million? I'll do it for free.
It's like, you want me to give you $1 million. Let me think about it.
But I mean, like, has there ever been a case where your manager has ever accused you of doing something?
Yes. And they were right.
Exactly.
They were,
What did you do?
well, it's because my assistant manager at the time, like, you know, I love her to death, but she was fucking pissing me off at a certain point. Like, she would not show up on time for random bullshit stuff. So I was like, you know what, fuck this bitch. So I just started playing basketball before I was supposed to go to work. And so I would show up an hour and a half late. She goes, why are you there? I was like, hospital. And I just come back in. And then, you know, I got called out for it. And I just told her, I was like, well, it's because you decided to show up whenever the fuck you want. So I'm gonna do the same shit too.
Rebel child.
Hey, I'm just saying right now, it's like, you can't, if you're supposed to manage me and you can't hold up your own rules, fuck that shit, dude. And she would leave me in the dust during prom time. And prom time is very serious. Like, when you sell tuxedos and it's prom time, it's fucking game over. You know what I mean? Like, you're on your feet for like 7 or 8 hours nonstop back and forth.
I mean, okay, so what about in this situation? Because I know this happened at a restaurant where one of...
Your restaurant?
Okay, so a little bit about the restaurant is that it's a all-you-can-eat steakhouse. And it's kind of a little bit...
Oh, you can eat steakhouse. Let's backtrack a little bit. What kind of steaks do they got there, and where
How
is
much is it?
Brazilian barbecue.
Oh, you worked at a Brazilian barbecue?
Yeah, I worked at a Brazilian steakhouse. Yeah.
Tell us more about the meat. Fuck the story.
Hookups, Julia? Huh? Do you still have hookups?
Yeah, I saw.
What do they call those? Chuparacaserias?
Yeah.
Churrascaria?
Churrascaria.
Yeah.
Chupacabra se querías.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
Our situation isn't really like this, but it was basically a manager just trying to prevent an employee from working. So this employee, he has another part-time job, and he accidentally injured his eye, but he still wanted to work. And he tried to cover up his eye because like there was something going on with his eye, so he tried to cover up with a patch. But then the manager was like, "Hey,
No pirates allowed.
you can't be working tonight. Like we don't want you to wear this patch. Like take it off, right?" And the waiter was like, "Well, I don't want to scare the customers, so I'd rather leave this patch on."
Why the fuck would he say take off the patch?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
We don't allow pirates dress codes here.
I know.
I feel like it was more of
It's just an excuse to not have them work, right?
yeah, an excuse, and also maybe they might have felt like it might conflict with their branding of how the restaurant is.
What the fuck? Everybody that works got 2 eyes.
They don't want people to be like, is that Captain Cook?
Captain.
I mean, for you guys, would you allow him? Like, would you allow that worker to have an eye patch?
Dude, I've allowed a worker to shave half of his beard off and then keep the other half, so I'm not tripping.
I think it depends on the restaurant. Like, if this was a 5-star fancy ass restaurant, if you go to any of those places, I'm pretty damn sure no one's gonna have gauze on their face.
With fucking medical.
But if it's an eye patch, that still looks very presentable.
Eye patch is different from gauze.
I guess the only concern I'd have is if it'd be safe for him to work. Because then, like, peripheral
Yeah.
vision. That's the only thing I would think of.
If his only gig is my restaurant and I'm a high-end restaurant, I would probably just pay for his sick leave or something. I'm like, you know what? If it's gonna take a week or 2 to heal, just chill out. Stay at home. Let this recover. I don't want to scare my customers away or whatever. So I think it really depends on the branding of the restaurant. But I would also want to take care of my employees too.
Supposed to be gauze, that's why I just pictured it. It's fucking white. They are.
Pus like oozing out and shit.
Looking like the Mummy and shit, man. Cause I remember we went to a kind of a upscale steakhouse in Las Vegas, and our waiter had the most craziest smoker voice on earth, man. She was like, "What you want?" Like she looked presentable. You know what I mean?
That voice again.
You have to do that for the rest of the episode.
And you choose what you would like to drink. I was like, it's one of those voices that catch you off guard. Like, you know how they wear those super fancy like bow ties?
That's not exactly.
Would you like some holidays?
Yeah. I was kind of shocked. I was like, would you like your I was like, what? How would you like your steak? And I was like, medium rare?
Lightly smoked.
I felt bad that I had to make her speak.
That sounds like she has a hole in her vocal cords.
I was like this.
Hey, what is going on, Just Kidding News fans? If you have not liked this video already, hurry up and like the motherfucker. If you haven't subscribed yet, hurry up and subscribe the motherfucker. And if you want to know more about us, check the description box below, my friends. And of course, other episodes are over chat. So whatever you make off of it, like that profit margin is huge. So.
Wow, smart.
I actually think they should do the opposite and lower the